Hi, Alpha Magnus here. Just wanted to show you a couple tips if you have any broken figures or weapons hanging around the house. Decided to try to get this guy fixed now. He's been busted for a while. This is a Tron figure from the Tron video game for the original Xbox. That guy's been busted for a hot minute. Then this is a Hordak cane from the 2000 series. Anyway, these guys are in need of repair. So what you'll need, first off, is the figure, of course, both halves of your part. Then, super glue. Some people don't use super glue, some people use pins. I prefer to super glue at least one end in so that you can unscrew it and screw it if you need to. You need a screwdriver that fits. Now these I took from a salvaged Xbox remote. But you can just buy them if you want to. Some small screws. I might even get smaller than that if I need to. I think these ones should be fine. Should only need two. So, screwdriver, drill, whatever you want, as well. Now what you want to do, you want to make sure that the threading on this drill bit is not bigger than the screw you're trying to put in there. You're just going to bore a big hole in there. Easiest way to do it, don't know if that's even visible, is to take the thing, if you can still see your threads, you're good. Because you just need the threads. This one is pretty good. So, you just gotta look at it and hopefully you can see behind it, like Shaq hiding behind the tree. This is where it gets a little annoying. So I'm gonna set this up to drill. Don't need any torque messing me up here. Alternatively, you can also use a drill press. It doesn't really work for things like this, though, that I've found. This piece was actually supposed to fit in the guy's hand without needing that, but I don't think that's going to happen anymore. You can also get a clamp, some things like that. This one's going to be the slightly easier one, we hope. So what you want to do first is not drill through your hand. This, of course, is not going to work. So we're going to have to cut this flat. Do I have... Right. Oh, here, I got one right here. So by doing this, I made the end nice and flat. Hopefully that means the drill bit will go in there nicely. The main thing is press with this, don't press with this. So, once you start seeing the stuff come through, very good. You want to make sure that you can spin it so that you don't bore through the wrong end. I think my my drill might be dying. This is a cheap one. I like this one because you can't hurt yourself with it, really. I mean, I'm sure anybody could if you tried hard enough. Yeah. I'll be right back. We'll grab this. I got drills galore. Versus this guy. This one's the maimer. You can hurt yourself pretty good on this one. So let's see if I get to be on YouTube for something more exciting. I'll plug her in. Yeah, that's power right there. It's in the tool, man. I actually prefer to use like super low end stuff on here. It's plastic. You don't need to, you're not drilling through metal. Same rule applies. So since I got it started with that one, I guess the first rule is to charge your tools. Ta-da! I got a nice hole right there. This is where the old super glue comes in. So I don't need much. Just gonna get it so that the threads lock in case there's anything loose or anything like that. You also don't want these to be too thin. So you kind of want to make sure that the drill bit and this are about the same size, that the shaft of the screw is the same, because you could possibly pop the thing while you're trying to do it. I've also done this with heated ones. May have to go a little bigger on this one. It's real hard when you have super small bits. Yeah, you're gonna have to go bigger. Glued for nothing. So I just wiggled it while it was in there. Don't want to touch that, it's got glue on it. So here's another fun oopsie. Since I took these from an Xbox controller, they have Torx bits, so these are useless. Awesome. So the next thing I usually do is I find some old Transformer toy that I don't care about. I take its parts out. Completely forgot that Xbox does that. These look like relatively similar size. They might be too small. Anyway, you dig around for enough of them and you'll find some good ones. Bingo. So, just watch the threading that you have. Now it's in there pretty good. I'm going to let this guy dry, because then we're going to cut this tip off. And that's where it gets a little hard. Sometimes these nails or screws are a little bit much. So now I got to decide how I want to tackle this one. This one looks pretty good. This was a clean break. I think I got this figure for $5 at Five Below, the discount store. So once you realize that you get a good start, you can start doing it. You don't want to go too fast on there because you'll just melt the plastic instead of spin it. So the thing I want to make sure on this one, I drilled it in on the disc here that's inside the sphere. This needs to still move. So while I have that inside there, I'm going to try to move it. There we go. Now we're cooking. That tells me that it's at least still going to move. I won't have to do anything too crazy. Now, this time, I'm actually going to put the glue on this end. So that it doesn't get too much on the mechanism there. I don't want that getting messed up. Get rid of this stupid custom I never finished. It's all usable eventually. And this is a little bit longer screw, and the reason I want that is because it's got to go kind of in far so that this piece doesn't break, as well as has to go back into the shoulder. The shoulder is going to be a pain because this thing's probably going to try to move on me. So I might have to get a blade or something and put it in there, a needle, to keep it from moving. Alright, I'll give it a test. It moves pretty good with this piece in. Alright, now you got a couple options with this. You can just cut this with compares tin snips or something to that extent. I personally don't like that method because it leaves the end kind of weird and jagged. I'm going to use this guy. Hopefully I can find the correct bit here. The old Dremel box out. Hopefully I can find that bit, because this area is a bit of a mess. But oh look, it's even got one on it. Almost like I prepared for that or something. That's a little annoying. Seems like there's something stuck in the Dremel tip. Bingo. That ain't going nowhere now. Tighten this up a little bit. Safety off. Ta-da! Let's cut this one first since it's been drying a little longer. Same thing. Put the in there. Always have glasses on. My glasses are safety glasses because of work, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's see. That one's not sturdy enough. So we move to stage 2. So I get this big boy out. Gonna watch this one though, because it could cut a lot of this stuff off. Push comes to shove, I do think I have a pair of snips that'll cut this. Cool that sucker off. Getting so hot it was melting the plastic. There we go. Actually, should make it a little sturdier. Cool. Now I should. Ta-da! Now, that end off. You kind of want to make sure that it's on a little bit of an angle. If it's straight flat, it can get a little hard to we switch back to this guy. As I said, never push with this, always push with this. Keeps you from gouging yourself there. Entering on a little bit of an angle. A little bit of an angle there. Should be okay. Should be good. Now, the main problem that I had with this figure is that this piece was like the weakest possible part. Do I not have my freaking glue anywhere? That's fine. I've got like a million of them around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Always seal your glue up. Now we've got these two pieces. This is just a basic weapon to. Well, this is the tricky part, getting this locked in here correctly. You don't want it to be wobbly or off center or anything. You can also get some super glue catalyst, and that'll cut that right up. So I'm actually going to give this a whack with just these. These are the snips that I have. Stainless steel. So what I'm going to do is, actually these seem to be cutting pretty damn well. So I'm twisting and then clamping. Look at that. Beautiful. So yeah, get yourself a pair of these. They're only like $7. I showed you the other routes because sometimes people like to do things. This route actually usually works really well. Depending on what the screws are made out of. I mean, they could be made out of, I've had plastic screws, I've had aluminum, I've had some weird stuff that just melted the second that I touched it. And then I've had stainless steel screws, so unless you know exactly what you've got, kind of just err on the side of caution and assume that it's the one with the weakest melting point. Now I'm going to go do this corner, fix jet here. I'm going to see if this spins. Of course, it's giving me issues. Clear out all this gunk. See how I did. Now it's not dead center, but it's close enough. So here's the real fun part. This piece has to move. This is the whole point of this. Now, you could say, well, you could just make this your swivel point. True. That works with probably this figure. It would work. Not all of them, though. Apply a little bit there. And I actually was doing this because someone on the He-Man.org, they were posting that one of their figures broke, and I've got like 10 of those figures that are also broken. Doesn't look like the inside piece is moving with this. what we want, because I don't want to have to go find the needle. Now, mind you, this is hardly the figure that's going to be going through a lot of torture here. I don't even know how it broke. Probably a cat or something knocked it over. We've got some movement now. Give Jet here a couple minutes to dry out. Do a little bit of cleanup. And aside from some Torx bit Xbox screws, not a bad job. I probably could have actually found my Torx screwdriver and fixed that, but I didn't want to have to do any edits on this one, as this is a kind of a simple thing I just wanted to do for today. So there, I fixed this one. If you want to see more of these, I've got probably 10 more figures I've got to fix. Just comment on the post. You can also do some requests if there's something else that you'd like to see. Paint wise or other. I'm always messing with figures, 3D printing, doing that sort of stuff. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jet's looking good now. So once that dries up, it's gonna be like a brand new toy. Let's give her a, oh yeah, look at that. Now I can display him again. I gotta get a couple of the other He-Man figures that I know have broken recently out as well. And if you haven't played this game, I'm pretty sure it's on Steam. It's Tron 2.0. Amazing game. It's essentially the sequel to the original Tron movie, which, whether Disney wants to admit it or not, they cannibalized the script for this and made Tron 2.0, that movie. Pretty much same exact idea. This is Flynn's son goes in there, but it's a first-person shooter. It's on the original Xbox. That's how I have it, but I'm pretty sure it is on Steam. Check it out. Alpha Magnus signing out.